Hello crocheters, welcome back to Oh Me Oh My Crochet. Today we'll be making a granny square duster. In this tutorial, I'll show you how I made my duster with suggestions for size alternatives. First, I'll make a traditional granny square. Then I'll use the join as you go method to join the squares. Next, I'll add the granny stitch trim and finishing touches. For this project, I used 4-weight acrylic yarn, mostly Lion Brand Basic Stitch. I used a 4.5mm hook for the squares and a 4mm hook for the trim. Here's the layout I used to construct my duster. To achieve this size, I made 39 granny squares, each measuring about 4 3/4 of an inch, plus 13 rounds of trim. I used a total of 1,482 yards of 4-weight acrylic yarn, which is about 8 skeins of Lion Brand Basic Stitch yarn. My final measurements are 23 inches wide and 34 inches long. I suggest measuring across your shoulders like so for an approximate measurement. I'm measuring from the center point of my arm to the center point of my other arm, and I measure around 22 inches. The length of your duster can be customized easily by adding or removing squares. To customize the width, here are a few sample squares. All of these samples use 4-weight acrylic yarn. The middle square is the square I used in this tutorial and what I based my measurements and layout on. I used a 4.5mm hook, and the final square has 5 rounds with a measurement of 4 3/4. Note, these squares include the joining round and are the final square sizes. One option to make your square smaller is to subtract a round. With 4 rounds, mine came out to be 3.5 inches. One option to make it bigger is to change your hook size. With a 5.5mm hook and 5 rounds, mine came out to be 5 1/4. A third option would be to use a different weight yarn. In this sample, I used a 3-weight acrylic yarn, the same hook size and number of rounds, and mine was 4 1/4. These are a few ways to change your square size, so do some experimenting. Let's make a granny square. If you already know how to make a traditional granny square, feel free to fast forward through this part. Remember, we'll be working our 5th round using the join as you go method, so we'll only work 4 rounds. Grab your yarn and your 4.5mm hook. First, make a magic ring and chain 3. This will count as your first double crochet. Then work 2 double crochet in the magic ring. Chain 1, then 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, and chain 1. Then pull your ring tight and slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. And you can cut your yarn and fasten off. For round 2, grab your new yarn and attach it in any chain 1 space. And chain 3. This will count as a double crochet. Then in that same chain 1 space, work 2 double crochet. In the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and another 3 double crochet in that same chain 1 space. This completes one corner. Repeat in the next 2 chain 1 spaces. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. And in the next chain 1 space, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Now we have 3 corners completed. To finish our 4th corner, in the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet and chain 1. And then slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. Then cut your yarn and fasten off. For round 3, grab your new yarn and attach it in any chain 1 space, and chain 3. In that same chain 1 space, work 2 double crochet. Next, find the space between clusters, right here, and work 3 double crochet. In the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet to create that first corner. Then 3 double crochet in the space between clusters. You'll repeat this 2 more times. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the corner space. Then 3 double crochet in the space between clusters. Three double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in the corner space. Then 3 double crochet in the space between clusters. In the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet and chain 1. And then slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. Then cut your yarn and fasten off. Now for our final round. Go ahead and grab your new yarn and attach it in any chain 1 space and chain 3. Then in that same chain 1 space, work 2 double crochet. Next, find the space between clusters and work 3 double crochet. And repeat in the next space between clusters. In the next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet to create the first corner. Then work 3 double crochet in the spaces between clusters. So 3 double crochet here, and 3 double crochet here. You'll repeat this 2 more times. So work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in that next chain 1 space. Then work 3 double crochet in the spaces between clusters. So work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet in that next chain 1 space. Then work 3 double crochet in the spaces between clusters. In that last chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet and chain 1. And slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. Go ahead and cut your yarn, and I'm going to show you another way to fasten off your yarn that doesn't leave the little knot that a chain 1 does. It's not necessary, but it is a nice way to finish off your round. Go ahead and insert your darning needle underneath this stitch right here, front to back, under both loops. This is going to simulate a stitch, so we'll bring it back here, go back through that last slip stitch, in the middle of that stitch, towards the back, And that creates that stitch right there. Then you can continue weaving in your ends just as normal. So make the rest of those granny squares and meet me back here when you are ready to start joining them. Now that you have all of your squares, we'll begin joining them using the join as you go method. We'll start with our back panel and work our way across each panel until we get to the top, where we'll then attach these two squares on each side. For your first square, work a 5th round all the way around the square. Here I've already attached a second square using the join as you go method. To do this, you'll start working your 5th round in this corner right here. In that corner, attach your yarn and chain 3. Then work 2 double crochet in that same corner space. In the spaces between clusters, work 3 double crochets. When you get to the next corner space, just work 3 double crochet and chain 1. Now we'll join this square to the previous one. Find the corner space and insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then work 3 double crochet back into that corner space to finish off the corner. Then we'll find the space between clusters on that previous square, insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then find the space between clusters on your new square and work 3 double crochet. We'll repeat this all along until you get to your corner space. Working a slip stitch on the previous square in between those clusters and 3 double crochet in the space between clusters on your new square. Now we've made it to our corner, so work your first 3 double crochet into that corner space. Then work a slip stitch into the previous square's corner space. Chain 1. and work 3 more double crochet in that corner space. This is how you'll join the squares of your bottom row, since you only have one edge to join. Go ahead and finish the rest of this round as normal. Join the remaining squares on the bottom row, and I'll meet you back once you're ready to add the second square of your second row. This square and each remaining square will be joined along 2 sides. We'll start the same way by attaching our yarn in this bottom corner. Chain 3, then work 2 double crochet. In the spaces between clusters, work 3 double crochets. When you get to the next corner space, just work 3 double crochet and chain 1. Now we'll join this square to the previous one. Find the corner space and insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then work 3 double crochet back into that corner space. Then we'll find the space between clusters on that previous square, insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then find the space between clusters on your new square and work 3 double crochet. We'll repeat this all along until you get to your corner space. Working a slip stitch on the previous square, in between those clusters, and 3 double crochet in the space between clusters on your new square. Now work 3 double crochet in this corner space. Then join to the previous square with a slip stitch into that corner space right here. And instead of a chain 1, we are going to find this corner space in this square and work a slip stitch there. So now we've connected in that corner. We'll finish off the corner of this square with 3 double crochet. And just like we did with the previous square, we'll attach in the same way with slip stitches between clusters on one square and then 3 double crochet between clusters on the new square. In this corner, we'll slip stitch, then chain 1, and then work 3 double crochet in that corner to complete the corner. Keep working the back panel until you've joined all of these squares and it looks something like this. Now I'll show you how to join your remaining front panel squares. As you can see, I've already joined this side, leaving room for the arm. Before you start joining, decide how big you want your arm opening to be. Mine is about 1.5 squares, which ended up being just about 8 inches. I'll show you how to join on the right panel. First, flip over this top square at the shoulder. We'll begin by joining this next square, connecting at the top side and half of the right side of the square. I want to join at this point right here, so I'll be attaching my yarn in the next space between clusters. Attach your yarn and chain 3. Then work 2 more double crochet in that same space. In the next space between clusters, work 3 double crochet. And in the corner space, work 3 double crochet and chain 1. Now we'll join this square to the previous one. Find the corner space and insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then work 3 double crochet back into that corner space. Then we'll find the space between clusters on that previous square, insert your hook front to back and slip stitch. Then find the space between clusters on your new square and work 3 double crochet. We'll repeat this all along until you get to your corner space. Working a slip stitch on the previous square, in between those clusters, and 3 double crochet in the space between clusters on your new square. Work 3 double crochet in that corner space. Slip stitch into the other square's corner space. Chain 1, rotate and work 3 more double crochet in that corner space. You'll continue working this side, working 3 double crochet between each cluster. In the corner space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. And work 3 double crochet between each cluster on this side. Now we're about to be joining this to the side. So first, work 3 double crochet into that corner space. Then find the corresponding corner on that side square. Insert from the front of that square to the back and slip stitch. Chain 1 and work 3 double crochet back in that corner space. And find the space between clusters on the opposite side and slip stitch. 3 double crochet between clusters. For this last stitch, we are going to begin our slip stitch, pull up that loop, and then we are going to find the top of the chain 3, insert our hook, pull our yarn through and pull our yarn through both loops to finish out that stitch. So now with this square joined this way, we have our arm opening. For our remaining squares on this side, you'll start in this bottom left-hand corner, work your bottom edge, you'll join at the right side, then join at the top, and then finish out your square. We'll work our first join after we complete half of that first corner. Join with a slip stitch, inserting your hook from the front of that square to the back of the square. And finishing out that corner with 3 double crochet. Now when you reach that corner, you'll work a slip stitch into this first corner right here. And then instead of chaining 1, you'll work a slip stitch into the next corner. And finish at that corner with 3 double crochet. Then just keep working the join as you go method until you complete this square. Work the remaining squares of your right panel the same way. Starting the left panel is a little different. You'll begin in the bottom right corner, work the granny stitch up the right side, then join across the top. Then work the granny stitch on the left side of your square until you reach the point that you want to join. Then join the remaining stitches on the left side. Once you've joined all of your squares, it's time to add the granny stitch trim. I worked 13 rounds total, starting at the bottom of my front left panel, working in the round. This is what the front looked like, and the back at the neck. You'll want to go down a hook size for the trim, so I'm using a 4mm hook. Join your yarn in any space between clusters and chain 3. Then work 2 double crochet in that same space. In each space between clusters, work 3 double crochet. In the outer corner space, work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. Along the sides, work 3 double crochet between each cluster and in each corner space. So we'll work in this corner space right here, 3 double crochet, and in the next corner space, 3 double crochet. Keep working this, and I'll meet you once you make it to the shoulder, where these squares right up here form an inner corner. Now in this inner corner, there are 3 spaces you need to work into. In the first one, work 2 double crochet. Then 2 double crochet in the second corner. And then 2 double crochet in the third corner. Then continue across the neck, working 3 double crochet in each space across. You'll repeat these steps in the next inner corner as well, and then repeat the pattern around the entire cardigan. When you reach the end, slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. For round 2, join your new yarn in any space with a chain 3, then 2 double crochets in the same space. Your trim pattern will be the same as the previous round, except for the inner corners at the neck. In those corners, you'll work in all 4 spaces. In the first one, work 2 double crochet. Then in the next 2 spaces, work a double crochet 2 together. Begin by working your first double crochet. Before you finish the stitch, yarn over and work a second double crochet in the next space. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Then, in the 4th space, work 2 double crochet. Resume working 3 double crochet between clusters. Continue repeating this trim pattern until your cardigan is just the right size. Mine took 13 rounds of trim and is about the width and height of one of my granny squares. This concludes the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on social media. Bye!